feel like we know what's good for us. For example, take movement or nutrition. We know what's good and what's not good.
Yeah.
It's not that there's a lack of awareness, but then I feel like we struggle to build the right habits and sustain the right behaviors. What do you think is holding people back?
Generally speaking, when people want to change their behaviors, motivation for that change usually isn't connected strong enough to their value system as a reason for making that change. So losing weight is not a strong enough reason. Better health is not a strong enough reason. A person can't tangibly understand what losing weight is going to feel like. If I can stand here feeling like I've lost weight, that isn't a joyful, conjuring experience. Maybe it's a feeling of belonging or desirability or success or, something else that they can tap into. So my job as a coach is to help get underneath what is it they actually want when they say they want to do the thing they want to do. An example is I was working with a person who really wants to give up soda. They've been having a hard time with it. We thought we nailed it because they had identified that when they were stressing, they would reach for it, and then they just like the taste of it and the bubbles. So we went through an alternative strategy to try to use. It turned out the person didn't have any stress that month, but kept drinking the pop. Okay. So that wasn't really a stress thing. Then we identified that that person had looked at the pop as like the taboo thing that they couldn't have when they were younger, or if they did have it, they had to split it with their brother because it was too much sugar for them. But now that they were older, they felt like, oh, I am the kid in the candy shop. I can have as much as I want, anytime I want, and I'm going to. So this was kind of like an adult behavior, stake the claim. So what we're working on now is what are the other ways in which you can exhibit your own agency, autonomy, adulthood to yourself outside of drinking this pop, which, as we've been working on this, doesn't really taste good to this person anymore, isn't really a pull, is becoming exhausting. They still are doing it because the physical habit is there, the caffeine addiction, everything, but they know they're ready to let it go. They just need the reason to be stronger. When you know what the bigger want is, the habit has no power over you. When you put whatever it is in the ring with the bigger want, like if better health is what you want, again, that people don't know what that is. But when you say, I have a vision of being a grandparent at my 80th birthday and lifting up a great grandchild and, dancing with them, under streamers and balloons. And that is the vision I'm holding. That, whatever it is, that candy bar, that pop, it's gone. That vision is too strong, and if you can invest into that vision and hold and think about all the things you're doing now that are feeding into that vision, that little soda pop is like, sorry, it goes away.
I'm hearing two things. One is this idea of having the right, like you're referring to it as a value, the right kind of objective with the right kind of depth and substance behind it. But I'm also hearing being able to channel the behavior in a way that's positive. Like you talked about this individual who the reason that they're reaching for this pop is coming from their childhood.
And they identified that, not me, because I'm not a therapist.
Right. So they identified that could be a connection there. And now what you're doing is you're not only helping them have the right kind of value, but then you're channeling how to channel that need differently, more positively.
There is that cue habit reward loop. And if you can switch out the habit for the healthier one and still reap the reward, that's an easy fix. It doesn't always work that way. It does take some work, but sometimes you hit it right and it can really be an effective strategy to use.
There's the environment versus motivation.
Yeah.
And obviously our environment, it's no secret that it has a lot to do with the actions that we take. But how would you describe the role of the environment in actually building those habits and sustaining those behaviors?
It ends up coming down to three components: your own thoughts, your ticker tape inside your head, and how they're driving your actions throughout the day, the environment in general, and whether or not it's conducive to the way that you wish to support yourself. So let's say if your habit is wanting to move more throughout your day and there's no space to move, or you're only resigned to a chair and a cubicle, that would be not conducive. And then the culture, whether the culture really does support walking meetings or breaks or something like that. So I do think that the environment will support it. There's a lot to be said for mindset and drive. Certain people can overcome their environmental constraints, but absolutely the environment can support you in building habits.
So it's not the only thing, of course.
No.
It is there to help you to either go in the right direction or go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But then there's the other components that need to also fit.
And from a coaching perspective, if we found that the environment was not conducive, that would be an obstacle that we would look at and think about what will our plan be if we run into an obstacle with the environment.